Good morning, good evening, and welcome to this week's live chat about going live. It is one of those things where I talk about it from week to week to week. And one of the things is that sometimes you just need to do it. Okay. You just need to go live to understand what it's like to go live. Does that make sense? I know it sounds weird, but sometimes you just need to go live to get the experience of going live. It's one of those tasks where you can practice and practice and practice, but you're not going to know until you go. All right. So good morning to Holly, first on my list here. Great to see you. Legal Minded from Karen. So we've got Holly and Legal Minded friends. Karen, it's great to see you as well. Karen from the UK. It's got to be pretty late for you, right? And Jerry, it's great to see you, Jerry. So good to see you. Today, I am streaming across all three again, like I did last week. However, this time I've got them open in the back end just for me to have a little look as well. So I am streaming over on LinkedIn, I am streaming on Twitter, and I am streaming here to the YouTube channel. Now, those of you that have been here before, you understand that I have a love-hate relationship with multi-streaming. I see the benefits. I see the advantages. Broader audience, being put in front of more people. That's the goal, right? But I also see the downside. And for me, the downside is the fractured community. So if you are over on watching on Twitter or watching on LinkedIn and you're feeling a little bit by yourself or there's not a lot of chat happening over there, come over onto the YouTube channel and this is where most of us are hanging. So I've just realized I took my Ventolin a little close to stream time, so I'm a little like my body shakes a little bit. So my apologies if you can see that. I can feel it. So I don't know if you can see it, but I can definitely feel it. It's this morning I decided I'm not going to risk missing out on a stream coffee. Okay. It was not going to happen. So while the machine was working, I made myself an extra one in my Yeti cup. So I'm just going to have a little sip because hands are shaking. Let's have coffee. The hand shaking's got nothing to do with the caffeine intake. Oh, that's what I needed. That's what I needed. I might just seal that up. So those of you that are here in the chat, have you live streamed yet? Some of you have, some of you haven't. Some of you come and hang out to learn things. Not sure if live streaming is going to be your jam. I'd love to hear your questions. I'd love to read out your experiences because the chances are you're not alone. I understand what it's like, especially it's been a long time since my first stream. But what I will say is whenever I change up how I'm doing things, whenever I change up the format or where I'm streaming to or what I'm going to talk about, I always get a little nervous. And I'm like, people are going to actually are they actually going to listen to me talk about this? Are they actually going to stay and hang out? Is it going to be like crickets, like the first stream? So, it's one of those scary things when you stream for the first time because you are controlling something you've never controlled before. So your stream has a control room. And it's called control room for a reason. You need to have a look at it. You need to make sure it's doing the things. I've got particular things that I love and hate about YouTube. One thing I do not like is the reactions. So I try really hard to make sure that I remember to remove the reactions because when you stream with a third-party encoder, like what I do, you need to set up with your third-party encoder and you have to then go into YouTube to turn off the live reactions and also to click yes to live replay. So there's a few little things you've got to remember to do. You need to go into your control room. You need to edit things. You need to customize things. If your channel is monetized and you're using a third-party encoder, guess what? You need to go and click that you would like that stream monetized. Over on my Fiberific channel, which has been monetized for many a year, I still have to manually click to yes for monetization. Now, apparently, I've been told that I shouldn't have to do that, but I have not worked out how to make it be on all the time. So it's part of my checklist now. Go and check to see if this is all done. Russell, it's great to see you in the chat here. Thank you. Yes, I decided to rep the merch today. I don't usually wear the merch during the streams. There's no particular reason why. I just don't. So today I did. And then I also thought, let's just go hard. Let's just rep all the merch. Now, I want to say these coffee cups are so enormous. I think I would literally die if I drank this much coffee. So I just have water in this mug because I think it would kill me. It's 11 p.m. here for Legal Mind with Karen. I just finished dinner. I made it at 8. I got caught in a phone call and responding to comments. Karen, I will say something, and you probably already know this, but you need to prioritize a balanced, healthy life when it comes to making sure you've got your meals, that you're fueled. You can do your comments later. They can wait. They can wait just a little for you to have your dinner. But I also know that sometimes you just get caught up in it and you don't even realize what the time is, and you look at the time and go, oh my God, I have not made dinner. Luckily for me, I do have other people in the house who will let me know that it's dinner time. Funny story. I don't know if they want me to share this, but I'm going to share it anyway. A couple of nights ago, I was sitting watching, I think, CSI or something on a rerun while I was crocheting on the lounge. And I've just lost track of time and I'm just sitting, kicking back. And both my husband and daughter come running out to the lounge room, giggling. It was obvious that they were scheming. They were definitely scheming. And then they started meowing, just like the pets do when it's the pet dinner time. They come out to the lounge room, they roll around on the floor being all cute and meow. Well, Tim and Abby did not roll around on the floor, but they did meow. And I just burst out laughing. It was hilarious. It really was hilarious. And that is what reminded me that it was time to cook dinner. So maybe you need some adult humans to run at you and meow when it's time to feed them. I don't know. I don't know. An alarm. Alarm might be better. An alarm might be better. Good morning, Doug Hewson. It's great to see you in the chat. I am just... It's Doug who inspired me to wear my merch because he wore his merch. And I was just like, I haven't worn my merch in a while. So I got the merch out. One thing I will say is, yes, I am streaming live with StreamYard today here on multi-streaming across YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. But I will say this one thing. I don't just stream with StreamYard. I love StreamYard. I think StreamYard is a fantastic tool. I really do. But it has limitations. So for those of you that do things like click the buy me a coffee and you'll notice that it does come up on screen. That doesn't happen through StreamYard. I actually am running Ecamm and then running Ecamm into StreamYard so that I can get those browser overlays. Let's have a look. Here we go. Home Rapid Repairs says, I'm on Twitter. Does my comment look the same as YouTube? I think it looks pretty the same, except it's got a little black X on it instead of a little red thing. But I think it's the same. Now, what I wanted to do is I needed to just keep a little eye, because last time on LinkedIn, I noticed that there were comments after the stream that I didn't see during the stream, if that makes any sense. So I just wanted to have it here just in case, so I didn't miss them. And I did. I felt underprepared last week. I really should have had them open, and I didn't. So I'm trying to learn from my mistakes of a previous stream and grow. So, yeah. Now, if you have got a question, please drop it in the chat. If you've got any questions about YouTube, any questions about live streaming, I would say I'm more comfortable discussing YouTube live streaming. However, I'm not unaware of the other live streaming platforms. My very first platform that I streamed to was not YouTube. My very first platform that I used to stream to was Twitch. I used to stream playing Stardew Valley on Twitch. And that is, it sounds bizarre, but I wanted to see if I could do it before letting any fiberific audience members of any shape, fashion, or size knew what was going on, honestly, because I still do. I live in the exact same house. I live in Australia, and I at that time I had very slow internet. I had what we call here in Australia ADSL, which was through the phone lines, not dial up, but it was the next step off dial up. So I had the ADSL 2 plus, so it was dial up, then ADSL, then ADSL 2, then ADSL 2 plus. I'm not quite sure if there was actually any difference between ADSL 2 and 2 plus. No idea. But my download was 4 or 5 megabits per second, but my upload was like 2 megabits per second. And everybody at the time said I couldn't stream. And back then, really the only streamers were gamers. I wasn't seeing a lot of streaming that wasn't gaming, whether it be on YouTube or on Twitch. I wasn't really in the YouTube educator world, so they may have been streaming, but I didn't know it. So I was having to learn everything from streaming from gamers. And that's not a bad thing. I just had to really sort of frame things differently because I knew I was going to be streaming to an older audience. I was going to be streaming to YouTube, which at that stage is what I wanted to do. But so I needed to sit down and work out who my audience were, what they would need to enjoy the stream. Did they want to see all the fun bells and whistles and the things that you could do from gaming perspective? Did I want the chat on the screen? Did I want no chat on the screen? Did I want 2 cameras? Did I want 1 camera on my face and 1 on my hands? Because I wanted to live stream actually doing craft. So I've been practicing and practicing and practicing for such a long time. So I was like, okay, I need to actually just go live to see what my system can do. And so this was back in the day. If you wanted to stream at that stage, it was really, I was on a Windows computer. So it was really for me, I needed something free. So it was OBS on my Windows computer using my ADSL 2 plus and the 2 webcams. So a C920 and some dodgy, terrible little webcam. I don't even know. It was definitely Logitech, but it was not 1080p. Let me tell you that right now. Whatever it was, not 1080p. I don't even know if it was 720. So I had that one actually as my face cam. I wanted the better one for my hands to show what I was doing. It was just like, whatever, if my face is there, cool. If it's not, it's not. And so I had that set up and it was just a mess. It was terrible. I had to do it over it at my desktop, which there was only one spot for that. And it was in this little tiny space that was just not great. I had bad audio. Everything was not good. But it didn't matter because I was having a go. I was trying it. I was seeing if it would work. And I think sometimes we forget how important working it out for ourselves is. We're so worried about our audience and what they will or won't like or will or won't accept that we forget to work out. We also need to work out what works for us as the streamer. As a new streamer, we need to work these things out. So I want to just pause here and go, hello to Oz Scale Modeling. Great to see you here, as well as Her Real Review is in the house. It's fantastic to see. I saw that you were talking about a rebrand and changing your name, but I just love Her Real Review. It just tells me exactly like you do movie reviews. So I don't know. Well, I would be curious to know what you're thinking about changing it to. So definitely, just be very curious. Like, you don't have to share here. You don't. But I was just really wondering. Okay, I'm back on home turf of YouTube. I love the StreamYard puddles you have. I only have the pillow. I've been using StreamYard now for... Oh, that was exceptionally loud. I was not anticipating that to be so loud. Let me just turn the volume down. I don't even know what had any volume at all. It's muted. So I think I'd been using the free for a little while, and I upgraded to the paid. I want to say mid 2019. No, mid 2020. I started paying for StreamYard, and I managed to win a pillow and a duck in a live stream of theirs really early on. So I got Puddles. My Puddles has seen better days. My dog got hold of Puddles, and my dog feels that ducks shouldn't have headphones. Um, and then recently, I won again, and I also I got a shirt. Oh, I bought a coffee cup. I needed the coffee cup, so I went onto their website. You can buy all your own merch. You don't have to wait to win it. So I went and bought the coffee cup. And then recently, like in the last couple of months, I won a beautiful pack. So I have the t-shirt, a cap, and a hoodie, which I just love. And I can't wait till it's cool enough here in Australia to actually wear the hoodie. It'll be amazing. Her real review says that she'd actually have no idea what she would change it to. I just made it to 1,000 subs, so maybe I'll keep it. I think you should keep it. I think maybe you should keep it. Maybe you can, rather than change the name, you could revamp some art, revamp some imagery, go that way if you want a little freshen up. Because I know what it's like. Sometimes you just want to freshen things up. And so maybe look at it from that perspective rather than changing any of your handles or anything like that. Oscar Modeling says, "Hey Doug, shame you live stream at crazy hours for Aussies, mate." Yeah, it's a little crazy. It's a little crazy. But what I will say is, Oscar Modeling, I watch Doug streams as well. But what I'll say is that I actually chose this time slot not to be convenient for Australians, but to actually still be the weekend in US. So when your audience is predominantly one country or another, it's really hard to find a balance. And I discussed that in one of the other live streams about finding a good time that works not just for you, but also for your audience. So it's definitely a tricky one, especially if you're in Australia. Excuse me. There you go. Great question from Home Rapid Repair. If you care to share your watch hours, see how you're coming along. Absolutely. So, like on this channel here, this channel is newer. And so I know some people come to this channel and like, oh my gosh, she's only got like 350 subs. How does she expect to teach anybody anything? This is a second channel. This is not my first channel. This is my second channel. So it's actually, it's more than that. But my other channel that I honed my live streaming skills is a larger channel. It's got more growth on it. It's been going way longer. And so I've done all my axe sharpening over there, and I thought I would share things here. So it's definitely one of those tricky things that to show your skills, to show what you can do on a new channel can be daunting. But we're getting there. We're absolutely getting there. Okay. Yeah. You know what? Excuse me. I've got a frog in my throat this morning. So yeah, time zones do suck. They really do. Yeah, I agree with you. They definitely do. Here we go. I had 4K that fell off, so now I'm also at 2K, but I just had a breakthrough that I need to do more trailer reactions. That is awesome. I mean, I know how disappointing it is when you are building a channel, especially when you're trying to monetize, and you see those views drop off. I had a similar thing happen on this channel. We've gotten to a certain point where I stopped streaming for a little while, and now those views are dropping off, and some of those views were really nice, and they're actually like, you watch it, you're bringing that line of the 4K watch hours, and you're watching it, it comes up, and then all of a sudden it just goes back down again. It is so sort of disappointing, and you just have to just keep going. And it's so easy to say. It's so easy to say, not quite so easy to do, but you do. You just have to keep going. And you've been going through obviously you're going through your analytics to work out what's working for you. You can see that the trailer reactions are working for you. So you definitely need to be getting in there and doing some more of those. So can't wait to hear about your journey and how that goes forward. A legal minded says, I had merchandise, but I found it too expensive. Gave mugs to staff at court and things like that. Look, this is a trick. This is tricky as well. Over at Fiberific, which is my other channel, my other business, I have merch that I do give away. It's usually pens, and I get those made at a local place. So, where's one? Do I have one handy? I mean, I've got an old one that I've actually pulled apart because someone needed to know something about it. So basically, I have these pens for Fiberific, and they're just a really nice writing pen. And this one doesn't, but all the others have a stylus on the end that works really fantastically on, definitely works on my Android phone. I actually haven't tested it out on an iOS, but during, the big C time, I actually kept one in my handbag for using like the ATM and things like that. So it worked on all of those. I found that this was way better item to give away. I still have people now who were not crafty that still love their pens. I took a box of them down with me to VidCon Australia and gave them out there. And I still have people I'm working with now that go, do you know what? I have one of your pens from your Yarncraft channel. And they're like, I have to fight people for it because it's just such a good pen. That's the trick. Don't get dodgy, nasty pen that no one wants to use. Get a pen that people will smack people's fingers if they try to take it back. So Ozscale Modeling, my other channel is called Fiberific, Fiberific. It's yarn crafting, it's knitting, it's crocheting, it's spinning. I used to do live dye sessions, so I'd actually move my whole live streaming section outside and set up cameras over dye pots so that I could show people how I would dye yarn. So you can find your audience, find what they want to see, and you can live stream that as well. Home Rapid Repair says, yes, funny story. Yesterday morning, I woke up at 7:30 and my phone alert said, Doug Hewson is live. I thought it was a mistake. Really? Oh, yeah, because for you, it's early in the morning. Of course it is. Yeah, same boat, just lost loads of hours. This is the thing. We're all on this journey together. I'm on this journey. I'm working on monetizing this channel. We're all on this journey of creation, and we can all help each other, not by doing anything, dodgy or against terms of service or anything like that, but we can be supportive of each other by encouraging each other to keep going. Just keep going. You've gotten the hours before, you can get them back. So keep working and keep going. Home Wrapper, I clicked in and you were there too. Chantelle Hill's literally first thing in my morning. So fun. Oh, that is awesome. That's so funny. Yeah, I do. I hang out in Doug's chats as well. Her real review says, I did 2 trailer reactions this weekend that have already gotten so many views. Views, and they were a few days late. See, sometimes a little late is better than nothing. Not everybody jumps on straight away. And that's something really important to remember, is while the hardcore people, like the hardcore fans of shows, the second a review drops, they'll be watching it. The second a trailer drops, they'll be watching it. All of these things, it is really important to remember that just because there is a section of the audience that do that, it doesn't mean the whole audience do that. It's like think of it like mobile phone reviews, right? You have the people that are hardcore into it who care about refresh rates and things like that, like screen refresh rates on your mobile phone. But something like 80% of users are like, if it's enough, it's enough. They don't care if it's tweaked a little bit more. They just want it to work. So it's the same for anyone's content. There's always going to be the absolute hardcore fans of a niche. But then there'll be the more moderate mid group. And sometimes targeting that group can be helpful. So if you're a couple of days later with a review, usually it also means you've put a little bit more effort and time into it. Not always, but sometimes it does. But it just means you are getting to just really think about what it is that your audience want and who they are. So go from that perspective. I'm just going to, there we go. So let me go on here. That looks nice. How much for each one? Okay, so you're talking about the pens. I got them from a local printer, so you would need to check your printers. And I'm only thinking in Australian dollars here, but mine came down to be about $1.80 per pen Australian. I did have to buy 500 to get that price point. So quite often printers have they will have like a price break where, like, if you buy 200, they'll be $2.50. If you buy 300, they'll be $2. So have a look at what the price break is. Things like pens are great because A, 250 pens doesn't take up that much space, and B, even if I never give them away, I've got pens for life, because usually a good pen will actually last a really long time. So yeah. Legal minded friends with Karen, I'm waiting to get monetized to go paid with StreamYard. It's so hard to justify YouTube expenses on a tight budget. I can 100% relate to this. It is so hard choosing tools that you really want versus need when the budget is just not there yet. And I love that things like StreamYard offer a free version. And not just StreamYard, there's other ones as well. But I love that there is a free version. Like, sure, yep, it's watermarked, but you know what? They've given you access for free. So that is so cool. So it is just insane how much, like, how many things you can find for free if you look around. Adobe Express, there's a free version. Canva, there's a free version. There's free imagery that you can use from Pexels. If you just really dig deep, you can find free or inexpensive. Even with the music, like I've got Creator Mix playing in the background. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but I do have Creator Mix playing in the background, and that's free. Harris Heller has his Stream Beats, which is free. And these are music that you can use in your live streams that you can use for free. Now, obviously, we all have to be careful when it comes to what kinds of copyrights we're dealing with and what we're working with. You absolutely have to go and really be careful, protect yourself first. But there are a lot of options for getting free. But having StreamYard have a really great free version, it does have limitations, but having it there is still amazing. Yeah, we do have hobby channels. That's exactly right. It's great. I love having my hobby channel. So it's like the channel is about a hobby. It's not a hobby. Does that make sense? So the Fiberific channel, for those of you that are just joining in, it's a yarn crafting channel. So knitting, crocheting, spinning. We even talk a little bit of weaving. We used to do dyeing. Like, we talk all things yarn. Good morning, amazing yacht destinations. It's so good to see you here. We've got a question from Russell. Is there a recommended structure for lives as there is for YouTube? So I don't think it's quite as like down the line as with YouTube, where it's like intro, where you have your introduction, your content, your hooks, all that sort of thing, your calls to action. But you do still need that sort of stuff. You are still dealing with humans, right? So I'm assuming that everybody here is a human. That could be a bad assumption. I don't know. But you're still dealing with people, okay? So you still want to make sure that you are hooking them with something they're interested in. So have a good thumbnail, have a good title. I know today is not an example of that. I wanted it to be a little broader than some of our more, themed in weeks. I just wanted to test it out and see how it'd go. So you want to have your thumbnail that describes clearly what it is you're going to be talking about in that live stream. Include the title that makes it very clear that people are coming to the right place. When you start your live stream, make it clear that people are in the right place for what they want to know. So have a good hook. If you want to do an intro, you can. I don't actually introduce myself. I've just realized I might introduce and talk about the channel a little bit, or what we're going to be doing in the stream. And I just realized I don't usually introduce myself. So for those of you that don't know me, my name's Chantelle Hills, and I've been live streaming for nearly 10 years. And I've made all of the mistakes. So I want to help you not make those mistakes and get your live streaming into a fun place faster. So it is, definitely one of those things where I quite often forget to introduce myself. because I'm going to be really frank and honest, and no one cares. If they don't know who you are, they don't care. They don't care about you. What is it that you can do to help them? That's what they care about. So when you're doing your live stream, you do need to sort of think of the run sheet a little like you would think of writing a script for a YouTube video. You still want to have your calls to action. You still want to have a hook and an intro and keep it interesting and keep yourself on point and on pace. You still don't want to waste people's time. So I don't know. Does that answer your question? Let me know in the chat if that answered your question. Oh, excellent. So there's lots of chat here. Oz Scale Modeling is moving to Thailand in 3 weeks. Oh my gosh. I've never been to Thailand. I need to go to Thailand. It sounds amazing. And you will not be the only creator over there. So I'm sure you will find more and more people. Oh my God. You spent how much on pens? How's the ROI on that workout? Okay. So I found that 1 year I actually spent similar money and got half the amount of pens, okay, because of the price break. So what I tend to do is I run retreats as well. So the pens go into the retreat bags. So I've got my last batch of pens I ordered was 2 years ago. I checked them. They're still going great. So I'm still giving them out. So they last a long time. I think you need to be mindful of the event that you're sharing the pens out at. For me, VidCon probably wasn't the smartest place. Most people down there don't give a crap about a yarn crafting channel. I think it'd be different now if I made a pen for this channel, but I probably won't. But you really do have to think about it. But it definitely works out better than trying to give out coffee cups, that's for certain. So I don't actually work out ROI in a standard way. Because I just want to like have something I can give. And for me, a pen worked out to be the best option. So it was because part of it is I'm a pen junkie. I love a good pen. I don't use fountain pens or anything like that. I love a good ballpoint pen. And so I just wanted a really good pen and I like to share that experience. So that's why I did that. So, but you have to really think about, is that worth it for you? It's also like if you're running, I run as a business. So it was written off as it runs through as a business expense. It wasn't just straight out of pocket. I think of it as a marketing expense, and marketing costs money. But I do find that when I share them at yarn crafting events, I had more traffic hit the homepage of the website. I can't say that they all came from the pen because the pen's just got the website URL written on it. But I had considerably more hit. But I don't run my old business the way I do anymore, so I probably wouldn't print pens anymore. But it's your call. That's the thing. I do the same thing. I treat all my YouTube spending as a cost of doing business. That's true. That's true. Here we go. I did get 1,000 pens from the UK government to promote for free. There you go. Well, that's the thing. Sometimes you've got to look around and see what's available. Yeah. If I understand you, there is a structure, but you don't use it much. No, I don't. I flutter around. These are Q&A sessions. So if I've got an actual like thing to teach. So like because you've caught some of these other streams, I tend to start off with my goal in mind, what I'm going to be talking about, but I break intermediately to discuss what's happening in the chat. And that's sort of what I do. I have a list of things that I want to cover in that stream. I'm marking them off as I go. And then once I get to the end, it's just pure Q&A for the rest of the stream. But you need to think about what's going to work for you. I can talk under wet cement. So as my family say. So it's easier for me in that regard. I don't need a full script. If you do need that, then use that. If that's something that you need to keep you on point and you need a full script, grab a teleprompter and go that way. You just need to work out what works for you and what will work for your audience, what will keep your audience engaged. For me personally, now this is a personal thing. I don't enjoy going to live streams where they don't interact with the chat. That actually is a pet peeve. If I go into a chat and I realize that nobody's comments are being, like, no one's questions are being answered. There's no way to even, like, I know on, like, Nick Nimmin, he doesn't so much interact with the chat, but he gives people access to a form and he interacts that way. If there is no way for you to interact with the streamer short of paying, I don't like that. Like, if you want to pay to be fast tracked and you want to go to the top of the list, that's a whole nother thing. But if there is no way for you to, like, there's no way you will interact with your chat, don't run a live stream, make a video. That's just how I feel about it. That is a personal feeling. But you can do what you want. I'm not the stream police. You can run your streams however you want. They may be more successful. I don't know. But for me personally, if you're not going to interact with the live chat, then I don't understand why you're live. So it's one of those things. I think a structure means points you want to make. Sometimes they'll come out differently depending on the chat. Again, and this is another personal thing on how I run live streams, I want this to be a conversation. I want what we're doing here in this particular stream to be a conversation. I want to answer your questions. I want to see your questions and answer your questions. So without responding to a live chat, I can't do that. So for me, I just think that if you're going to have a live chat, you need to be prepared to be veered off course a little bit, because the question that you get, the answer may not be exactly what your next point's going to be. As a matter of fact, I've actually never had it be the exact next point. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, that's going to be a point down here, so I'll move it around. So having that flexibility, because live streams, you need to be flexible. Stuff happens when you're going live. It absolutely does. The internet could crash. I could have my dog go off. I could have people bang on the door. Things happen during a live stream. You can't just press pause. You can't just, go back and go again. It's and people not notice. They will absolutely. You can totally go back and go again, but people will notice. So you just have to think about it slightly differently. That's all. Yes, John, agreed. John, it's good to see you here. I agree with you on the chat. I so agree with you on the chat interaction. Thank you. Yes. 30 degrees in Sydney, heading to the beach. Have a great stream. We'll catch the replay later. Have fun at the beach. I'm not sure what the temperature is here in Brisbane, but it was already horrible and humid this morning. It's 9 a.m. here. So, yeah, have an awesome time. So there's a channel that's pretty large and he's streaming to like 6 different platforms. So I can't follow along where he is, and he's always shouting out people we can't see in the stream. That is one of the issues with multi-streaming. I think I mentioned it at the start. When you multi-stream, you are fracturing the audience, but is it worth doing it? Is there a benefit to you for doing it? So I'm just going to pop over here to have a quick check at LinkedIn, because I know that sometimes the LinkedIn chat doesn't come through. It is one of those things where you have to make the decision, is that going to bother your audience? That you bring a comment on screen and talk about it, and they're like, well, I can't see that. Where is that comment coming from? And then they realize, oh, it doesn't have a little red thing. It's got a blue thing. And it's from the LinkedIn audience rather than or it's from the Facebook audience rather than your YouTube audience. It does happen. And that is the downside of multi-streaming. So you have to make that decision yourself. Is there a way that that can work? Stream Police, isn't that a song? I don't know. I mean, I don't think it is. I've got this song running through my head. I don't think it is. Is there any stream package that will combine all the chats in real time? So like I'm on StreamYard. I've got all the chats combined in real time for me right now, right? I can see them coming through from, like, I saw the Twitter comment come through earlier, and that works for me. There is a way to throw that up on screen. Like in Ecamm, I can actually just click a button and it will appear on the screen. You can include your stream chat. On StreamYard, not so much as yet. You need to bring it in as like a screen share or something like that. I don't bother. but it is a workaround. It's a workaround. Um, it is, and for me, I don't like having the chat just appearing on the stream on the screen, because there could be comments I haven't had a chance to moderate out that I don't want there. Like you guys have seen, I moderated out somebody during the stream because of an inappropriate comment. Oh, Larry, thank you. Oh my goodness, 5 coffees. So that Home Rapid Repair, thank you so much for buying me 5 coffees. I really appreciate that. So there's workarounds, but at this stage, there's no way to do it where it's not part of the video, like where it's not just down the side. So a lot of streamers will include their stream. So if you're using OBS, which you could well be using, there's actually little plugins that you can use in OBS, but you can't multi-stream as easily on OBS. So that makes it harder, but you can bring in your comments from YouTube and what have you there. There are plugins for different softwares that you can do. It's all a workaround. None of them do it natively. As far as I'm aware, if you do know of one, please let me know and I'm going to have a look into it. But as far as I'm aware, there's no way to do it natively. John is watching on the television and chatting with his phone. I tend to do that as well. Actually, I quite like to do that. Morning, Frankie over 50. Great to see you here. It's all cool. It's all cool. One thing I'll say is, who else here in the chat would love it if you could tag from mobile phone? Like I'm like, why? I know I've had a chat with like people at YouTube and it's not as easy to fix as it sounds. Apparently it's a big thing that is hard, but you can't tag from a phone very easily. Like if you can, like on a computer, you can just type at and then start typing the name and you'll get the list of like, oh yeah, I want that one or this one or whatever. Whereas on a phone, you actually have to type out the entire name and it doesn't actually always even work. So yeah, it's just one of those frustrating things. It's one of those frustrating things. Do you know what really helps? If you want the sip of coffee to open the cup. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look. I hate that when you're using a phone and you get interrupted and you lose your comments in the chat. Yeah, and it just disappears. So I personally, I'm a bit of a control freak. I'm not going to lie. Those of you that have been around here, you guys probably already know it. And so I just really don't like it when I don't get to have things exactly how I want them, which is why I like to stream from a computer. I've got double monitors, and right now I have got Ecamm open, the YouTube Studio open, StreamYard open, and over here on another browser I've got LinkedIn and Twitter X is open. So I want to be able to see everything and be able to troubleshoot and fix. And so I have the YouTube comments so that I can moderate those open. And then I also have the StreamYard comments open so that I can bring them on screen. That's why I don't stream on mobile. Because, also, these glasses aren't just so that I look pretty. They're because I'm like old and going blind. So I need the glasses, and the phone it just doesn't work. I end up like with my phone like right up here, which defeats the purpose, right? It defeats the purpose. Let's have a look here. You're doing the same big screen and I'm on the phone. Yeah. I love that YouTube make that so easy to do now, right? So YouTube used to always be a bit about lean-in content, about content where you need to, and live streams are a little bit like that, where you need to lean in. So you kind of would have to be on, either your phone or your laptop or something like that. But now that you can have that open and have that available on your television, you can lean back with your phone in your hands, still involved in the chat. Sorry, I'll get back on the microphone. Still involved in the chat, but get to lean back and put your feet up or work on a project or do whatever it is that you want to do while you're watching the stream, and just have it right there and you're not missing anything. I love that they're constantly trying and moving things around so that they can start, you know, they can start making it really work for you. On my new Samsung, I type the @ and start typing in the name. It then types in the rest, but doesn't. Wow, wait, what? It doesn't work on my old phone. You have to type in the full thing. I've got a Pixel 7. I don't have it here. Man, I wish I did right now. I've only got an old iPhone. I know it definitely doesn't work on that. Like old, like as in iPhone 7. It's basically a Stream Deck now. Gosh. That is game changing. I'm gonna have to ask some people. I'm gonna have to talk to some people because I love that. I love that. That is cool. It doesn't work on the S21. I know it didn't work on my S20. I had this. Did I have the S20 or the S21? I think it was the S20 because when I changed the Pixel, I've given it to my husband. But yeah, it definitely didn't work on my older model Samsung. But I am very curious. Wow. But shouldn't that be an app thing rather than a phone model thing? Like, I'm like, do I have the latest app? Have I just not noticed that I can do this now? I don't know. Far out. Talk about cat amongst the pigeons, legal-minded friends with Karen. That is gold. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to have a look. Then maybe there's a new update for the app. Who knows? Maybe I'm out of date. I'm just out of date. It happens. So very curious. I'll like note to self, chat with some people about that. Because that is something that really bugs me, not being able to tag people easily. But you're right. It does, like if you type out the whole thing like totally correct with the correct spacings and what have you, then it does work. These older phones might not run the newest YouTube app. I can honestly say I would really hope my Pixel 7, which is a Google phone, can run the latest Google YouTube app. I would hope. It's not like the Pixel 7 is like old. It's last year's phone. So, yeah. I'm like, where is my phone? I don't have it. I feel like I'm like, where is that thing? It's probably out on the dining table. I like paused when I was grabbing drinks, so it's probably in the kitchen or something. But that is so good to know. I can't. I'll be going and having a play with that. Let me tell you. Oh man, that would be so good. It's been something I've been asking for so long. It would be just like, oh wait, I can't complain about that thing anymore because they did it. Anyway. Let me know in the chat if you've got any live streaming questions, if you've got any YouTube questions. I may or may not have the answers for you, but I can certainly give it a try. Live streaming is something I'm very passionate about. If I can help you get on the path to starting to live stream, if I can help to make your live streams a little less stressful, I would love to be able to help with that. So just let me know. One thing I wanted to say was that the live streaming journey and the live streaming process, it does take practice. So I know I'm pretty chill and I'm pretty relaxed, but that's because this is my happy place. And this is the place that I feel the most chill and the most relaxed when it comes to content creation. And it may not ever be that for you. Maybe you are a person who just absolutely loves a pre-recorded video, or you're a person that absolutely loves making shorts. There's nothing wrong with deciding, excuse me, there's nothing wrong with deciding to not live stream. But understanding your decision on why you don't live stream, that could be the way that can help you to balance that in your own brain. Because there's all these people out there telling you, oh, you have to be live streaming, you have to be making shorts, you need to be making long form video, you need to be turning your live streams into shorts. Like you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be doing this. The reality is you have the option to do all of these things. You don't have to do any of them. You just don't. You don't have to do any of these things. Now, if you want to grow your YouTube channel, you'll need to do something. You'll need to find something that you can relax into, that you can work on and you can make happen. But you can't do nothing but you don't have to do everything. Does that make any sense whatsoever? Manufactured home living says can't tag on my iPhone 11. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Doug could tag on his. I think he's got the latest iPhone. I don't think he can tag on that. I'll have to send him a message and find out. Because I know he was in, but I think he's at work, so he's like popping in and out of the chat. So being able to just work out what benefits you, what benefits your audience, and finding that happy medium between the two. So your audience might absolutely love live streaming, but you just really don't like it. Do you have to think about that? It's like, okay, I really don't cope with this. Your audience will understand. They'll adjust. If live streaming is something that you try and can't keep up with, then, or for whatever reason, it just doesn't work for you as a person, sometimes you have to make the decision to not do it. You don't have to live stream. While I want to sit here and go, everybody should be live streaming. Yes, everyone should be live streaming. The reality is it's not true. I have quite a large proportion of my audience on Fiberific that don't watch any live streams. So now on YouTube, you can look into in your studio and you can see what percentage of viewers are watching live streams versus VODs versus shorts. And you can click on each one and you can see there's a bar, like, are they watching which one? And you can see it at a glance. That's definitely on desktop studio. I think it's mobile as well, but I'm not 100% certain. It's definitely desktop studio. You can see if you've been running live streams. The other thing to remember, though, is if something is a new form of content for you, so if you've just started live streaming, your audience may not be there yet. So you need to give them time. So do you guys remember when I very first started live streaming at 9 a.m. here? It was around Vid Summit. My brain's trying to say VidCon, and I'm like, no. It was Vid Summit. And I decided I'm gonna try this time zone. But the test was not going to be a week or two, because that's not long enough. 2 streams is not a test. So I wanted to do this for a few months and to see if it's working. Now it's working for me. I don't know if it's working for you guys. The test is going to keep going. So what was that? That was early October, so sort of mid-October by the time I started doing it. So October, November, December. So yeah, the 3 months is technically up. So I will go back through now that I've realized that it's been 3 months. Oh my gosh. And I will go through and I'll have a look at the data and make the decision. But I honestly feel like for me it works. So I'll keep doing it while you guys are coming in and asking your questions. So you do need to just sit down, have a look at your analytics, have a look at the style of content that you want to make, look at what your audience would respond to. Is somebody else in your niche already live streaming? Are they got a good response to it? That can also help guide you. If they are good at what they do, please be careful in who you are looking at, because sometimes it could be someone who's also just started live streaming in that niche, and they could be like, oh, live streaming doesn't work for this niche. It works for a lot of niches. It really does. I won't say it works for everything, because I haven't tried everything, but I will say it works for a lot of niches. So being open to live questions and being open to live support, and open to live teaching or live selling or any of those sorts of things, they can really help your audience down the track, depending on who your audience is and what it is that you do on your channel. I'm going to have another sip of water while I check the comments. Okay. So I'm just having a little look over here, just checking the other streams, make sure they are still running, because, you know, stuff happens sometimes. And I think that one's paused. I hope it's just on my screen. No, it was there you go. I don't know what's going on there. It must only play. It looks like LinkedIn only plays when you actually have the window open and prioritied, because it's just up to the 5 coffees from, or 3 coffees from Home Rapid Repair. So it's a little behind. All right. Well, we might make it like, oh, here we go. Football fans 789, welcome to the chat. If you've got any live streaming questions, please drop them in the chat. If you've got any YouTube education questions, drop them here as well. I may or may not be able to help, but if I can, I will. So we get to our tail end of these live streams, and it becomes a point of like, when do you end? When do you finish the stream? And that's going to come down to you as well. And that's another tough one. And I struggle with it. I struggle with it really hard as to when to finish a stream, because it's like, okay, my goal is to go live for an hour, but do I want to just fluff and fill for an hour, or do I want to actually make it worth someone's time? Now, I tend to, those of you that watch regularly are probably like, she fluffs and fills. I do. I natter. I'm a natterer. My poor husband is like, you just talk all the time. So it's not just to you guys, it's my personality. So you need to think about that as well for yourself. I can give you lots of advice and lots of discussion and lots of things to think about. But at the end of the day, this is your channel. It is your audience, and you have to decide what will work for you. I can just give you options and I can give you advice, but it's at the end of the day, it's your decision. So it's like a lot of things with YouTube. Do you want to make long form video? Yes or no? Do you want to make live streams? Do you want to make shorts? One thing I will say that I think everyone should be doing, which I mean, I don't do it enough, is use your community tab. If you have if you have access to the community tab on your channel, and you have any size of audience, you should be using your community tab a couple of times a week. It's just one of those things. Thank you, football fan. I appreciate that very much. It's definitely one of those things that, for me, it's not part of my schedule, and it should be. I should actually have it in the list of things that I schedule. And I will try and definitely do better at that. But you need to look at how you're using your community tab as well. It shouldn't just be a place for promotion, because people will just white noise it out. They'll just be like, yep, whatever. She's just talking about the next live stream. Yep, whatever. I tend to use it mostly for like, okay, not going live this week. It's one of those things. It's just like, that's when I remember to use it, like, oh, I need to get a message out to everybody, but I'll use the community tab for that, you know, or I'll put it over on the Facebook group, or yeah, there's things like I'll use it for those sorts of things. But you've got so many options on how you can use the community tab, because like those of you like that are still here, thank you. The community tab, they keep broadening what it can do. So now it can, you can totally add in picture polls, text polls, imagery, like just a single photo with some text. You can add in links to things, so you can share out other things happening in your industry. So if you like here on live streaming, I could totally share out Doug's live streams. Now, for me, I'm like, oh, we have a really big crossover audience. It's probably, you know, will it help him? I don't know, probably not. But it could totally do that. You can share out somebody else's videos and something else that you think your audience will like. Do you want to be the destination for your audience to go, oh, they may not have the answer, but they might be able to send me to somebody who has the answer? Do you want to be that person? Like, I'm a facilitator that way. I like, you know what? I don't know the answer to that, but if you talk to such and such, they'll have it. So go and check out their channel. So, and you can do that with your community tab. The other thing that you can use your community tab for is, do you guys remember when YouTube had YouTube stories and only channels with 10K subs had access? And so I've never used it. None of my channels have 10K. So I never got to use it, and it was like, I would just like get close to it and be like, oh, it's gone. I can never use it. You can make community tab posts expire. So you can schedule community tab posts, and you can make community tab posts expire, so they don't have to sit there forever. So there's lots of ways to use it. You don't ignore it. Don't sleep on it. I haven't seen that much from my fans in the community tab, even with 24K subs. Community tab is still a relatively new feature. So it's not super new, but it's still relatively new. YouTube's still working out how to show it and where to show it. But I've noticed that when I'm, especially on desktop, I do a lot of my viewing on desktop. The community tabs, like content, like as in polls and things like that, they come up as their own shelf on my on the watch page. And so I'm like, oh, I'm going to answer that poll. I'm going to do that. But I think it's because I like that sort of thing. So not all of your audience may be interested. So it's definitely one of those things where you got to just keep using it and keep trialing it. I'm not saying, you know, sit down and spend hours on an SEO laden post where you've, you know, done all these things. It can, like, because you can make it expire. It can be the cheeky meme. It can be the fun, lighthearted thing. It can be Christmas video. It could, like, whatever. It can be this extra little place, a little bit more social media-ish. I plan on using mine a little more like how I use my Instagram stories. So, and I will be making some of them expire so that they're gone because they're relevant for now. They won't be relevant in 2 months, kind of thing. Oh, you're getting through that mosaic blanket. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm working on a join as you. I'm also working on a corner to corner join as you go. Definitely. I'm all blurry now. Interesting. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but thank you for letting me know. I'm like watching my camera. It's just all of a sudden going in and out. It's actually the camera. It's not any software. It's bizarre. I'm not quite sure what's going on. So, yeah. Anyway. But yes, I too have a corner to corner join as you go on the go. How's my day going? My day is going okay. We're coming up to 10 a.m. here in Brisbane in Australia. It's just over 10 a.m. here in Brisbane in Australia. And on Monday morning. So I'm doing good. It's great. Hunting for focus. What's really funny is, it's hunting for focus, but I didn't think I had autofocus on. I thought I'd set the focus. So I'm like trying really hard not to move now that I'm sharp again. That's really hard for me. I move around a lot. I really move around a lot. But yeah, I'll have to double check it. Maybe we did have a little power outage here during the storm, so maybe it just needs a little bit of a reboot and I need to check some settings. I didn't. I was like, oh yeah, it turns on. Cool. So, I mean, that's my bad, right? So, on that note, everybody, the hour has come and gone. Feel free, if you're watching the replay, to please pop in questions. If you're watching live and you come back and realize, oh, I had a question about that, pop it in the comments area. I do try to answer all the comments as best as I can. So, it doesn't always work. Sometimes I'll end up making a video because it's just easier because, that's a lot of typing. Sometimes it's a lot of typing. And thank you. It is my StreamYard mug. Thank you for the duck love. I'm going to have some more water. Okay. So on that note, let me know in the chat, in the comment area. Have you gone live? Do you plan on going live? What's stopping you from going live? Any live questions that you have, please let me know. Sometimes I will see a question and that will be the theme of a live stream to help you to move forward in your thinking and your planning. It is a very big cup. I fill it with water because I would die if I drank that much coffee. So I will see you all here next week. Same bat time, same bat station. And I hope you have a fantastic week. Bye now.